Hello and welcome to episode 62 of Knobcat Games Dungeons of the Obelisk podcast. I'm your host, Joe Sleppy. I'm Executive Prime at Knobcat Games, and this show is our audio devlog where we get together every 2 weeks and we talk about our game, Dungeons of the Obelisk, a 2D turn-based dungeon crawling loot grinding adventure. And I'm joined today by our Animancer, Giver of Movement, Nyka Deer.
Hi.
And we also have our digital alchemist, TJ Edicernia.
Hello.
And we got a couple topics, some things to talk about with some of our companions and artifacts and stuff. But I think the main thing that we want to talk about that everyone is going to be asking about is how are challenges coming along?
I'd say that at this point, challenges are incredibly close to being done. When it comes to the challenge itself, where you load in, you fight the waves of enemies, and you scale up in difficulty, that is basically all set. There's just small bits of polish left to do for it, but every major feature of the whole thing functions as it's supposed to. So besides that, we're at a point where we just gotta finalize the new equipment that comes with challenges, kind of settle everything that's attached to that, including any changes that the blacksmith is going to need to accommodate for the new rarity that's being added in.
Yeah, I should say I streamed the other day, and that's all available like on YouTube if people want to jump on and see, you know, the testing of some of the challenges and some of the stuff with the new items and everything. So there's 3 hours of gameplay of that if people want to check it out. But yeah, when I was testing, it seemed like everything was pretty much working like it should, except for the stuff that you haven't finished yet. So that's pretty exciting. I think I made it to level 80 of glubs, so I felt like that was pretty good.
Interested to see who sets a record for that one.
Yeah, they do get pretty tough eventually. Like the thing is, like, you know, glubs aren't very fast or strong or anything at all, but eventually you get to a point where they're all faster than you. So no matter what you do, they hit you like 8 times before you get to move.
That's rough.
So
it could be an instant loss.
That's kind of the break point. Luckily, they don't hit very hard, so if you have enough health, you can survive it and then hit them and take them out. But, you know, it all just scales. It scales up infinitely, so like at some point there's going to be a point where you hit the wall. But what I found that's cool about that is that's where you can really test if a build is better than another build. Because, like, if you can do 80 with one build and you can do 85 with another, like, you can tell exactly how much more powerful it is. There are a few things that make some stuff better in challenges than it does in dungeons and stuff. Like, Thirsty really shines in challenges because you can stack your buff to area damage and let it stack, and then it stacks for all the fights because it's all considered one big fight instead of in dungeons when you have 8 little fights. So that's pretty useful. I was trying to demonstrate it on stream and I didn't quite get the build right to like show everybody exactly how it worked, but I think they got the idea. But it's pretty cool because you like hit, by the time you get to the boss, you use your AoE attack and all of the attacks from the AoE hit all 8 mobs, and then they area damage splash all 8 of them to all the other mobs, so every mob's getting hit like 9 times from one attack, and it just like shakes the screen, and it's pretty nuts.
The setup I have now kind of makes use of that, because in the end, in a challenge, when you use Thirsty as your companion, you're basically guaranteed 100% area damage, which in a 1v1 fight is a 20% damage boost, but in a crowd, it just spikes your damage up so much. Just one single AoE attack and you clear basically everything, depending on what level.
Yeah, it usually kills like the boss too, even. The way to get it to work though is obviously with Thirsty, you have to hit with a single target attack to power it up. And then once it's powered up, you can use your AoE attack. So if you want to do it in auto, it's kind of hard to do, because if you have enough mana for your AoE, your character is going to use the AoE attack and then it won't charge up your basic one. So the thing that I figured out to do is I looked at my AoE attack, which cost, I'm using the Grave Filler, and I have a little bit of mana cost reduction. So my AoE Rage Spin costs 38 mana. So I made it so that I have exactly 190 karma. So I have 190 in my mana pool, and then I gain 19 per turn. So that means I can only use my AoE like half the time. So that way it forces me to use like my basic attacks more. And then obviously you have the offhand that also hits, so that helps too.
I like to make use of it with offhand auto attacks, because that means that every single attack you do, if it was single target in the first place, you also trigger the offhand. So you trigger the AoE stacking twice in a row, which just builds it up insanely fast like that. Call that balanced. If there was a video of some gameplay of challenges, that means that the Jester made his big reveal, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, you can see him dancing.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, he is funny to see dancing in the corner.
I hope people appreciate him as a character. I feel like he wasn't like necessary for challenges, and maybe we shouldn't have made him because, you know, our budget's getting pretty low, but I think he was worth it.
His design kind of carries a lot more personality compared to other characters, because like most characters use, or I guess every character uses all the baseline items that we have to design a character's face and appearance. But then the Jester, being the Jester, was given his own custom clothing, his own custom animation, toyed around with his face to make it, I guess, more goofy looking compared to any other NPC in the game.
And he rhymes all of his dialogue, which is extremely hard for me to do, but I don't know. I think it's worth it. I was trying to think of what else there was in challenges that wasn't done. Like the main thing, I guess, is getting, we've talked about a little bit, but the new rarity available at the blacksmith, because like if people watch my gameplay, they'll see that like I was dropping the champion items, but they weren't rolling correctly at all yet. So the champion item that's going to drop, being champion, you have to craft it from a material. It's not actually going to drop from the boss like it was in the test, but once you craft it, it's an offhand, and it's similar to the offhand dagger in that it attacks when you attack, but this one has a mana cost and does about like 3 times the damage, but it wasn't working yet where it would use the mana yet, so it was a little like hard to, couldn't really test it yet for sure, because it didn't have its stats right yet, and then it doesn't have its mana cost working, so I don't know, maybe that design added a little bit too much work to it, but hopefully it's worth it. Maybe I should have went for something easier, but I really wanted something that would be worth grinding for and would be good. So
I can say that all the functionality of it is now in-game on my end. It wasn't too bad to get the rest of it working. It is noticeably stronger than standard equipment, because like its major stat is boosted noticeably higher than usual. I don't think it has any minor stats, but I guess systems in place where the minor stats of this rarity is higher than it used to be. It's just like a direct multiplier in comparison to legendary gear.
Yeah, they're basically like 50% higher on the modifiers, which I didn't even think about the offhand not having any modifier slots. so that's kind of funny that I made you program that, but yeah, it's good to have that in place for the next offhand, or the next champion item that isn't an offhand.
Yeah, and then I feel like the mana cost is kind of like a balancing factor for it, because it has a very strong hit, and since it triggers automatically, I guess it'll automatically drain your mana whenever it can. But that also means if you are trying to use basic attacks for some other purpose, then you're guaranteeing that this heavy-handed attack is guaranteed to play, because you're not wasting your mana on any other skills. But it might be tough to build up on auto mode, just because you're going to auto drain mana for all your powerful attacks.
Yeah, I think it'll be a balancing act, and I think it'll make having a higher karma a little bit more important. You know, people were worried about the major traits not being like, dexterity being the best major trait, but I think this will make karma a little more important, but we'll see how it plays out.
Have a setup where you have just enough karma to regen mana for the offhand attack to trigger every time. Then you just endlessly use your basic and the offhand attack with every cycle.
It would also be handy with a companion like Mr. Donut. He would let you charge up a bunch of extra mana to use on it.
Better regen than normal.
Speaking of companions, how does it seem like Glimmer? We finally got her in the game. That was our last companion that came out like 2 weeks ago, I guess. And it seems like maybe, I think it's super powerful, but it seems like some players still prefer the rare that gives like the 20% flat boost over the potential 30% boost to a random one each turn. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, when it's something random, I guess if you want pure reliability, you wouldn't put on something like this. But you can look at it and guarantee the fact that you have 4 different bonuses. Every single one of them is powerful. So even if you don't have the dex bonus for more attacks, you know that you at least have something else that is just as strong.
Yeah, how tough was it to get that dex bonus working? Because it's really hard to tell when you're just like watching in auto. I haven't really seen it where it changes the turn order yet, but I'm assuming it definitely does. It's just really hard to tell how it's working.
Yeah, it should be working just fine. What happens is that every turn you should have a function running in game called calculating your turn orders, which it just kind of compares all the characters and compares their dexterity at that moment to see who's going to be going next in a certain order. And to a degree it backlogs it. That's why you can see the little orbs go further out than just the ones at the very front. So I want to say the dexterity boost is more likely pushed to a backlog, but it does still take its effect. You'll notice that your character will in fact go faster and take more turns than you usually would.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that's really hard to notice in game. I was just curious about how it worked, but that makes sense. I also got the colors actually shifting properly to indicate the bonus that it's giving, which has made it a lot more helpful, a lot more I don't know what the word is. It's just a lot easier to tell what's happening with it.
Yeah, I really like how the animations ended up settled for it, because when you're just chilling in town or if you're somewhere else not in combat, then you can look at it and it's just slowly cycles between all of its colors. And then when you're in combat, almost kind of like if you make a chameleon panic or something, it just swaps colors every time your turn begins. And instead of the slow process, it's just that instant panic of a color change.
Yeah, she's definitely the coolest companion in my opinion. Like, it definitely has the most functionality and stuff, like a lot of uniqueness to it. It kind of sets the stage for other companions that kind of shift their buff. Because in my notes, I originally have a possum, and that was kind of the idea for Glimmer, was to, the possum like shifts its buffs as well per turn, but it was a little bit different where it would shift its like, I'm saying it does, but where I want it to shift its like stance basically, so it can go from like playing dead to rowdy screaming or whatever it ends up doing, whatever possums do. So that one maybe could be bumped up in the order. I'm not sure when we're going to add more artifacts and companions after this next one. That might be one just from me personally wanting it in the game. Might get bumped up on the list. I have a list of like, I don't know, 20 artifacts and companions that I want to make, but obviously each one takes a little chunk of money and time to get in. Speaking of that, we do have scheduled I don't want to call it the final one, but the final one for this round of artifacts and companions, which is Wolf's Boon, which is a artifact that I believe is going to give area damage and double attack chance. So it should be a pretty powerful one too.
Yeah, I was looking at the image for it, and I feel like this thing looks sick. I really like the design on it.
Absolutely. It looks so cool. I've been setting up the rig like just over the last couple days, and this thing looks like it should be on a metal cover. It's so cool. I think it's gonna look even better once it's animated and in game too. Like, it won't be hard to make that thing look sick. It's already doing most of the work. So
Yeah, I just had it listed on the list as Wolf's Boon, and like just the name of it, and kind of the concept of it, but I didn't really have any idea of what it should look like. And I kind of just gave Ben free rein, and he came back with a couple of ideas, and we kind of picked just going with the wolf skull, but then he had it where it was just kind of a regular skull. Like I guess I'm assuming he pulled up a reference of what a wolf skull would look like, and it just was like a regular one. And then he was like, I think I'm going to add horns to it. And I was like, but wolves don't have horns, but I guess maybe a demon wolf god would.
Yeah. Maybe this wolf has horns.
Yeah, so he added horns, and it makes it look really cool, I think.
Yeah, I'd be scared to run into one of those things while it was still alive, for sure. I mean, I might still be afraid to run into it. I don't know.
I was thinking about the fact that it does seem to have horns, and I don't know any wolves that have horns, but maybe I'm wrong. But that definitely does clear it up on why there's a wolf skull with horns on it.
Yeah, it definitely surprised me a little too.
It's a demon god wolf skull, so
nice.
That basically explains it. I don't know if we've really touched on this or not. I don't know where it's at in the lore, I don't know, for the game, but there is like an idea that there's these gods in the world that people worship and have artifacts from and stuff. So obviously wolf is one. There's the wolf gift of slaughter sword as well that you can have, and I can't remember if the flavor text references it or not, but there's a lot of stuff in the game that kind of alludes to these gods in the world, but nothing has really like put their information in one place yet.
The gods of the Obelisk.
I like that.
Unless the Obelisk is its own god.
It could be. I do have lore ideas that I can't talk about yet, so at least not on air. We'll get there eventually. Speaking of that, I started working on a wiki finally for the game, and I've got a ton of stuff set up on it. So it's probably to the point where other people could jump in and start adding things that they wanted to see, and I could maybe make a little section for the lore of the gods and stuff on there.
I should definitely check that out. You were mentioning that the other night. I've been meaning to get around to that.
Yeah, I've been working on it like nonstop for 2 days. It's like all I can think about.
I saw it earlier. I was looking at the blacksmith page. Whole list of dialogue that the blacksmith says.
She would be under locations right now, I believe. Oh no, and NPCs.
Squibbledale.
I mean, that's what they do on wikis, right? List out dialogue and stuff for everybody.
Yeah, looking at this page for Squibbledale.
This looks nice.
Yeah, Squibbledale is the name of the region in which the town of Topia is located.
I see. I like that.
The only thing that bothers me is I wish this website didn't have so many ads.
So, Fandom is the only place that I can find that you can make a wiki like this, and I want to say easily, but it was very hard to figure out and get rolling with it. But now that I've got it, I'm moving pretty good with it. But I kind of assumed that there would be a paid version that you could remove ads from your wiki, but once I got into it, I was like, these ads are so annoying. I have to if the paid version is less than $20 a month, I'm doing it. And there is no paid version. There's no option to remove the ads. So now I'm kind of torn because I have so much work done already on it, but I don't know what other platform you could actually move it to.
That might be a good question to just open up to the Discord, hey, does anyone know a good alternative wiki platform? Because this is kind of for y'all, and we don't want you just having to drown in ads the whole time, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't heard of anything else though. Like I tried setting one up on Fandom a while back, and it was kind of like that. It was kind of confusing, and there were just ads everywhere. I wasn't a big fan, but I do see, like, I feel like most blogs these days are set up on Fandom, so it does seem like it's really popular.
Yeah, and it depends on your browser and stuff as well. Like, I have security on Chrome and stuff, so it blocks most of the ads as long as I'm using like my one specific account that has those extensions on it.
Yeah.
So that is a possibility. You can run like an ad block or something, but maybe somebody knows how to remove some of them somehow. But I just can't believe they don't have a paid version.
For real, like I feel like they'd probably make a good amount of money if they offered that, because I feel like there's probably a demand for just having an unobtrusive wiki,
Yeah, I would think.
I wonder if it's on the user for something like that. Like if I logged in, could I pay to not see ads when I open up the website?
Ooh, I wonder.
As far as I can tell, there's no like paid account for it, but if there is, maybe I would do it if I could find it.
Just gonna get your ads and you're gonna like it.
Yeah.
That's the big problem with stuff like that. My phone can't handle that website very well. Like as I hold it in my hand, I can feel my phone heating up, and then I watch the page just crash.
Oof. Oh no.
But it's so annoying because it's like if I'm looking for info on a game, which I pretty often do, I have to go on a website like that because it's either Fandom or it's what was the other one, Fextra Life. But I think Extra Life is just as bad.
Yeah. I have to deal with Extra Life a lot because I feel like all the big, like, FromSoft wikis are on that.
They really are.
Yeah. It's a shame, though, because, I mean, I love the colors and the layout, and I like our logos and having it all here. It'd be cool if we could, like, take this and put it on our own thing or something. I don't know.
Yeah, the problem with that is then it's not a wiki.
Yeah, then it's just a website, right?
Yeah, it just becomes like our own website, and I'd have to do everything on it.
Yeah.
The way it is right now, I've kind of started with the basics, and maybe other people can take off on it as well.
Yeah.
So
I think this is like a great start just to have it here because like it is the one that everyone uses. It's pretty accessible, so if like community people want to come in and like contribute to it, I imagine it would be pretty easy with Fandom, in spite of everything else.
yeah, it seems like it, because I've got all the infrastructure set up for it now with the pages and stuff. So now it's like you don't have to start everything from scratch. You can just come in here and be like, oh, there's nothing listed for Skull of Karuzaran yet. I'll make that page. And then you just, boom, make the page and copy one of the other item as a template, and you're good. So
yeah, that seems pretty straightforward for the most part. Like I could probably contribute to that if I wanted to spend some time on it.
yeah, it's definitely like a thing. Like I don't know how you set up the rules and stuff for it, but like right now I've tried to follow a lot of the phrasing and stuff that we use in game, so like if people get on and just start doing random stuff, it might get a little messy, but hopefully like they can use the style that I've set up, and then I can always go in and edit it and stuff too if I need to.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like, I gotta make sure it doesn't get like vandalized or something.
Yeah, and it's a little tough too, because like when you set up a page, you have to remember to do like not just typing all the stuff for it. Like there's a picture to upload to it, and then there's categories to put it in. And like, if you don't know the right categories for the page, then you end up with like a bunch of random categories and stuff. It's really hard to like get a category off of a page if it's like in the wrong one and stuff. So I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot to it. I don't know. I want people to contribute to it, but at the same time, I'm a little like nervous because I don't have like the rules and stuff set up on here yet, and like I'm not 100% sure what they should be. But there's like little things like how you word stuff that are kind of I feel like they're important to like people reading it to have things like all in the same perspective, I guess. Because like when I refer to the character, I'm referring like there's the player and then there's the character, and then a lot of people would just type you. They'd be like, whenever you do this, and I'd be like, well, when the player does this or the character does this. Do you see what I mean? Like, does that make sense?
Yeah. No, that sounds like something you'd really want like a style guide or something for, so that everyone's like kind of knows what to aim for and what like a passable article would look like. Cause
right, exactly.
I could see that getting really inconsistent otherwise, for sure. Like, I could definitely see why you'd be apprehensive about it.
But right now it's got a lot of stuff on it that I think, I guess even if you don't want to contribute to it, if people want to get in the Discord and tell me things they'd like to see on here, that would be good too, you know, like, because I've tried to guess what people most likely want to see. You know, there's a lot of stuff in the game, so it's hard to remember everything and think of things that people would actually be like searching for.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I'm sure if people look at it, they're gonna be like, hey, where's this description, or where's this wiki? And that'd be a good way to figure out what people are looking for too, real quick.
One thing I think might be useful to a power gamer is that I couldn't decide how to list the attacks for weapons, but I went with the actual percentages that the system uses. So that is something unique that people kind of can't get anywhere else. So if they want to do math and stuff, they can actually go to the wiki and see what weapons use as their base for the math of their attacks.
Oh yeah, that's one of those things where it's like, unless you go through some real effort to figure that out, only the devs know what the number is.
Yeah, and that's still the base percentage. It's there's also a hidden stat that's called weapon power. So weapon power is based on level, I guess. So it will change the math on it as well, but it gives people a starting place at least.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, the strength equation, well, I guess the damage equation was basically base damage, weapon power, and strength combined together to create an end result. But then you also have other small calculations, like, do you have any dexterity that's being converted to physical power, which there's only one item that does that right now. And then you have how much strength you actually have, how much it's being multiplied and added in as a booster. Numbers that get jumbled up all over the place.
Yeah, it's definitely complicated. I've been thinking about, like, I really like the weapon, the bow that converts dexterity to physical damage. And I've been trying to think of, like, what other items could work. Because I feel like a tank might have a shield that converts, like, constitution to physical damage. So I've been trying to figure out how to do that without it being like broken and stuff too. So I think it'd be cool to have some stuff like that, some more of those, kind of playing with what the major traits can do.
Stack conversions can always be incredibly powerful depending on what's being converted, which I feel like that's why the bow is so good, because you're converting dex, one of the best major stats, into strength or physical damage, which is, you know, the way that you kill stuff. So you're already attacking faster than usual, and then you're attacking harder than usual because you boosted your strength.
Yeah, it's definitely a balancing act. You know, there's a lot of people that like the bow. I think most players that beat Titan, I'm gonna go look at people's profiles, but I think most people that beat Titan use the bow and the canopic jar, which still baffles me. But I guess it's best in slot.
It's because they do it for that revitalize. I know it. I can feel it.
I mean, you might not be wrong, because having mana for those powerful attacks is definitely something. There's something to that. I still think Mr. Donut is powerful because of the revitalize aspect of his power, but it depends on your build, I guess. I just looked at the recording time, and I'm gonna have an extra 10 minutes to edit than what we usually do, so this will probably be a little bit longer one once it's edited down, but unless there's anything else you guys want to get into, I'm gonna wrap this up.
I guess I'm good.
Should be all clear.
Yeah.
Right on. In that case, thank you to the listener for listening to the end of this show. We really appreciate your interest in our game. Game is available on Steam if you, for some reason, didn't know that already. Hopefully, if this is your first episode and you stumbled on the podcast first somehow, I'd be very curious how you did that. But yeah, game is on Steam. We're working on challenges, so look for updates. Let's see, we have our social media, which is at Dungeons Obelisk for Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. I'd also ask if you could leave a review. Do that on Steam or wherever you're listening to the podcast, because those really help other people find the game. I also mentioned earlier about streaming. I stream occasionally on twitch.tv/StarRambler, and then those videos also go to my YouTube that you can probably just search on YouTube for Dungeons of the Obelisk. And I think that is everything. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Bye.
See you.
Bye.
Call that balanced.